My UX design job has changed a lot during the past 2 years, and sometimes I think that I don't work as a designer anymore. However, surprisingly for myself, I don't think to mind that. And in this video, I'm going to lay down 3 things that I see are changing in my day-to-day life and why I think they are for good. And if you're new to this channel, my name is Ines. I'm a principal product designer with 16 years of experience, and in this channel I talk about the modern trends in UX design, so subscribe if you want to stay relevant. Now you might be thinking that I'm going to talk about the modern AI tools, the generative AI, and how I use it to generate beautiful screens and so on and so on. And maybe I will surprise you, but I'm going to talk about the deeper changes that I see in the ways how we approach the product development. As I said, there are 3 major changes that I observe. And the first change is that I facilitate meetings way more than I used to be doing that. And I don't think that I was ever taught how to facilitate meetings, how to drive the discussion. And I don't think many UX bootcamps are teaching you that. And I would be actually interested in knowing if your bootcamps were teaching you how to facilitate meetings. So go in the comments and share your experience if you don't mind that, because I would love to know if the programs are overall keeping up with the pace of the development in the modern UX industry. Because observing the day-to-day work of myself and of my colleagues, I think that maybe meeting facilitation is a very underrated skill. If previously I had to facilitate maybe 1 meeting per half a year or per quarter, and probably this meeting is an on-site meeting for our team, now I think I prepare a new meeting every 2 weeks, every month, and I have to be creative about the way how to approach it. I have to be really clear about what do we want to achieve, what are the people there in the room, and I just found myself doing that way more recently. I must say that I don't mind facilitating meetings. It's actually something that I love doing, but I just don't think that everybody is equipped to do that on a regular basis. The second change that I see that are changing for myself at work is that I drive projects myself. And yes, I'm a UX designer. I'm not supposed to do that. We are supposed to be having project managers and product managers, but on my current project, we have no dedicated PM. We have an engineer who strives to be a PM and who dedicates 20% of their time to do some PM work. But you can guess it, it's not enough. And I have to do a lot of heavy lifting myself in order to get out the requirements and to get people together in the room and to facilitate the meeting again, and so on and so on. I have also an engineering manager who is helping me on this project, but oftentimes it seems like on the product part, I am alone there and I'm taking on the business decisions that I'm not equipped taking. And I used to be not taking them. There used to be a dedicated product manager who used to be telling me, okay, we have come together and we've decided that we will do things this way in terms of how the business should be run here. And I think I like this part cautiously, because I oftentimes think that there is so much responsibility on me. I'm not used to that. Yes, I'm a principal product designer, but still I'm a designer. So I'm supposed to provide the user experience for the tool that we need to build, for the service that we have. But I used to not be taking decisions on how we run the service. And to be honest, it's often challenging and I sometimes feel overwhelmed by that. But I'm also kind of embracing that because I've been dreaming to work as a service designer for a long time. I've been studying service design, I've been reading about that a lot, and now I kind of get a real opportunity to do that. And I also see that my colleagues are experiencing the same issue or the same challenge or the same opportunity. And I also don't think it would be possible 2 years ago, 3 years ago to have a big project that is a company-wide project that spans 2 departments together without a single PM. And now it is possible, and we can debate why it is the case. And I think that AI is really doing their job here, and we can now write documents faster. We can now gather the requirements a bit faster as well. We can wrap out our ideas into the words that everybody would understand and things like that. But this is the result of the changes in the industry that I don't think we discuss a lot as UX designers. And the third change that I see in my day-to-day job is that we do a lot of vibe coding and a lot of rapid prototyping. And this is the thing that I think connected to all other things together. And this is why we now can have no PM or almost no PM on the project. And this is also why we now have so many meetings that I need to facilitate. And this is the fact that if previously I had to talk with a lot of stakeholders one-on-one or in a group setting to get out the business requirements from them, now they can go to Lovable or Claude or Gemini and they can create a prototype of whatever tool they need or whatever service they see in place. And this speeds up things enormously. Just recently, last week, we had a workshop because one of our stakeholders has designed a prototype of whatever the vision he has in mind, and he has presented us this prototype and we had to discuss it, and I had to again organize this meeting. I have to help to facilitate this. There was another designer who was facilitating that, luckily, but it is still the essence of my job nowadays. And we were discussing this vision, we were adding some details to it as we speak, and by the end of the meeting, we had a working idea, we had a working prototype, and the only thing that left for us to do is to turn this prototype into the actual working thing in our design system. So the only thing that is left is the execution. And because we were all in the meeting together, we are all agreeing already on the thing that needs to be done. That speeds up things so enormously for me. I can just not highlight it more. And this is what makes me so happy about the changes that we are having. And that's why I don't mind the changes that I have in my profession. And yes, it used to be the most challenging part for me. This is what used to make me a principal product designer, is that I had to start on projects who have a lot of ambiguity. And that was my job, to actually get out of this ambiguity to a clarity, to provide some solution that will incorporate all the requirements that are floating around in people's heads. And now we can do that during the course of one meeting that is properly organized and facilitated and so on and so on. And we can change things in the prototype as we speak. Of course, that speeds up things so enormously. And in big organization, as one that I'm working on right now, it is just invaluable. And I think that I'm happy with this change. Yes, the profession is changing, the industry is changing, and I think many people find it challenging. And to be honest, I'm also finding it challenging sometimes. But overall, I think this is really for good. Because if previously we had to write a lot of documents, we had to talk with people and we had to understand what do they even mean, we had to map out the user journeys, because I'm working in the B2B, so it is a very, very important thing for me, because there is a process in place that we want to digitalize, and that's why I need to understand the process. It's way easier when an expert can actually design a prototype, incorporating the process that they have in place, and out of this prototype, I will just land it on our actual tech reality. And complete honesty, these changes are also very scary, because I cannot imagine what is going to happen within the industry in 2-3 years from now. If these are the changes that we are having today, are we going to have PMs? Are we going to have designers? Or are we going to merge these two job functions in one? And I'm thinking sometimes that I am participating in an experiment when we are already trying to see if a project can be run without a PM. So let's see how this project will go. So far, it is going nicely. And with all those changes that I named, we are actually moving faster than ever. And our stakeholders, they are aligned on the vision. They are feeling that they are co-creators of the designs that we are having. And I overall really like that, because otherwise it has to be done through a very tedious stakeholder alignment process, instead of just once getting together in the room, getting the thing done, and then going to the implementation right away. But the big elephant in the room is what is going to happen with this implementation part. Are we going to have a generative AI in place that is going to replace our work there? I know that the most hype on YouTube is happening around the generative AI tools and the predictions that is going to eliminate our work in the user interface design. However, for me personally, this part of the actual implementation and execution is staying intact for the time being. The only part that is changing is the first part of the product development process. So I would not be worried for the execution for now, but I would have a closer eye on what is happening with this collaboration between PM PMs and designers. And probably the transition period is going to be very challenging and very confusing. But don't worry, I'm working at the frontier of this change, and if something is going to happen, I'm going to know about that right among the first, and I'm going to make a video about that. So if you want to stay up to date with the modern UX design trends, consider subscribing to this channel. And if you want to know my favorite AI tools for rapid prototyping and vibe coding, go check out this video and I see you there.